Hi guys, you're welcome back to Damsey Fashion. In this video, I'll teach you how to make this beautiful bustier with yoke. These are the required measurements. I've ruled my lines down already. Here I have my horizontal line, which is the starting line, and these are the vertical lines. This line here, from this point, is from my shoulder to bust point, in which I've marked the line. From this shoulder line to this line here is my waistline. As you can see, I've ruled and written it out. Then from the shoulder line to this line here is the blouse length. That's the length of the blouse. The first thing we are going to do is to divide our shoulder by 2. The shoulder of this measurement is 15 inches. You divide it by 2, which is giving us 7.5, 7.5. Then from here, you start taking your measurements. Then after you have measured the 7.5 that we have measured here, we are going to determine our chest line here. Our chest line is our bust measurement divided by 6 plus 2 inches. Our bust here that I'm using in this measurement is 36 inches. Divided by 6 plus 2 gives us 8 inches, which will serve as our chest line. So we start from here, then we mark 8 inches. The same 7.5 we measured here, we are going to measure it here too, to get a straight line from the chest line. Then you connect. So you label this. See, this is our chest line. For this measurement, I am using 3.5 as the width of the neck. Yeah, 3.5, that's 3.5. You can use any width you like. Then the depth of the neckline, I am using 4 for the depth. Then you connect. The next step here, from this line here, we are going to divide our bust measurement by 4. We are going to divide our bust measurement by 4. Our bust is 36. We divide it by 4. We have 9. Then from here, on this chest line, we are going to mark 9. Then from the chest line, you come up by 3 inches. And from this up here, for our shoulder slope, you come down by 1 inch. Then you connect here. From these 3 inches that we came up from the chest line here, you come in by 0.5. Some you can come in by 0.75 or so. Then you connect it. You see that? Now we are doing our armhole curve. To this bust line that we measured here, we are going to put your curve here to this line to create our armhole curve. As you can see that, we already have our armhole measurements here. The next thing is to divide our nipple to nipple measurements by 2. The nipple to nipple measurement of this measurement is 8. When you divide your 8 by 2, it gives you 4. Then you mark 4 from here straight down to the blouse length for this intake here too. So I'll mark my under bust measurement. My shoulder to under bust is 13.5. So that's 13.5. I thought I've ruled that earlier. Please don't forget this. This is what we are dealing with, because okay, the 1 inch here and 1.5 here. That's under bust tightening. Here I write UB. That's my under bust. If you are dealing with an half length, that's without blouse, you should stop here and follow this. But because I'm dealing with a full blouse now, I'm not going to follow this waist intake here, but I'm going to follow the under bust intake. The next thing is to measure where we want our yoke to start from. I want to use 6 for this. You might decide to use 5 or 7, depending on how low or high you want it to be. This is my yoke line. Do you understand that? What we have here, you measure from here to here and you divide it by 2. Then you mark it. Do you see? Then from here to here, you are going to connect to the bust point like this. So after connecting that, on our yoke line, we have to take an intake here too. That is our over bust intake. For the over bust intake, I'm using 0.75 on both sides. 0.75 on both sides. That's because the bust is 36. If it is 36 inches and below, you use 0.75 on both sides. But if it is above 36 inches, you use 1 inch on both sides. Do you understand that? To get your curve. Then I do it this way. From the under bust, connect to the bust like this. You see where I'm placing my curve? Gently. Then you come here too and you do I hope you can see that. And on the second side too, you do the same thing. Now we have our middle, then the side on already. What we are going to do next is to determine our depth, our yoke depth here. Our yoke depth. The yoke depth me I'm dealing with here. I like to use 9 for my depth. Like to use 9 most times. But in this case, I want to come up from my bust point by 1 inch. So if I'm coming up by 1 inch, this is it here. Then from here to here to here, I'm going to connect first. After doing that, from this waistline here, you connect to the downside like this. From the under bust, connect to the down. I hope you can see this. Then we continue with our measurements. The measurement for the bust is 9. 36 divided by 2 is 9. So after the 9, the remover here, what was added here, you add it back here. You add it back here to complete our measurements. I hope you understand that. Then the waist under bust measurement is 30. Divided by 4, we have 7.5, that's 7.5. Then from here, we measure our dart intake that we removed. We remove 2.5. Then you add it back. Then you come to this waistline too. This waist side, the measurement here of the waist is 32 inches. Divided by 4, we have 8. 8 here. Then the that is removed here, 1.75, you add it back. At this down part, the round measurement we have here is 37 inches. 37 inches divided by 4, that's 9.25. I just sum it here. Then what we removed here, you add it back. Remember why doing this. Then you connect. The next thing for us to do is to take the side dart, because the back is shorter than the front by 1 inch. Our front length is 23 inches, our back length is 22 inches. So 23 minus 22 gives us 1. You mark 1 here. Then you connect it to the bust point like this. Then we come back here. We don't leave it like this. For our yoke tightening here, we connect here. Listen. Then the next thing to do is to slash through this place so that we can put this side darts together here. So I'll mark what I have in this side and make sure I have the same thing in the middle side so that it will be close. As you can see, I measure 4 here. Then I'll make sure it's giving me the same thing in the other side. Then I will mark it and connect my line together, as you can see the way I'm connecting it, so that it will be equal to what I have in the other side. Do you understand? Then blend it very well and you cut it out like this. So you make sure you shape this sweetheart neckline very well and make sure there is no mistake when you are cutting this, so that it won't affect the yoke at the upper part. This is the middle now. Then you trim off the down away. That's the length that we have. So we have gotten our middle side now. The next is to trim off the remaining parts of our design. As you can see, I am cutting the armhole now to the yoke line, because the up part, the yoke line is different from the down. So I won't make it together. I will cut it away. Make sure you trim it well. Do you understand that? So after trimming here, we are left with our yoke. You slatch one side of your yoke, the that side, so that you can bring it together to close that area. This is necessary for our under bust tight, for our over bust tightening rather. It is necessary you tape it together with a sellotape, as you can see, so that we can make our yoke ready. So after you might have gummed this, make sure it is straight. You are going to blend the joining. You gum a paper to it and blend it. Do you understand? As you can see, I'm already putting another paper under so that I can blend that area. It won't give me that sharp edge there. Then I blend it with my marker. You use your pencil. Remember, this is for illustration purpose. So finally, this is our yoke, our front yoke, and this is. So now this is the back pattern. On the back pattern, we have the same thing we have in the front, the way we mark our horizontal and vertical line. Can you see that? I've marked my underbust, my waist, my length, and my shoulder line. The same shoulder line we measured for the front, we measured for the back, and the same chest line. I ruled the chest line. Do you understand that? Then I left 2 inches allowance for my zipper allowance, in which you signify zipper allowance. You can use 1.5 inches, you can use 2 inches, depending on whatever you want. Then on this neck here, we mark 3.5, that's 3.5, the same measurement we use for the width of the front. But my back here, I am not using the same thing for the front because it is a high back with a design on the yoke. So if you like, you can use 6 inches, anyone you like, but here because of the design, I'm using 2 inches for the depth of my neck, for my neck depth. Then after this, I use my curve ruler to connect the circle on the neck, and it looks like this. Blend it very well. Then on my chest line, I come up by 3 inches from my chest line. I come up by 3 inches from my chest line. Then I come down by 1 inch from my shoulder line. Then you connect to the neckline like this, as you can see it. From the 3 inches that I come up, we come in by 0.5 inch. Then you connect to the shoulder line this way. We are giving it a kind of curve on the armhole. Then you are going to take your curve ruler. First measure your bust measurement divided by 4. Our bust measurement divided by 4 here. We used 9. 36 divided by 4. Then you are going to connect it like this. Can you see the way I want to connect it? Make sure it's straight, and some, if you know, you can use your freehand curve and you get a perfect curve, but I prefer to always use my curve ruler when pattern drafting. So we already have our bust measurements like this and our armhole measurements. The next thing is to measure our dart. Our dart intake here is 4, because remember in the front we use nipple to nipple measurement divided by 2. That is why we are marking 4 inches straight down. Do you understand that? Don't forget any dart intake that you are using. The nipple to nipple measurement divided by 2 is what you use. Then we are going to connect straight down like this. We connect each line to get a straight line straight down from our bust point to the length of the blouse like this. So after this, the next thing is to get our dart intake, as we can see this. So what we are going to do is that for our dart intake, you can see this line here. You are going to check the chest line. That's what I'm checking here now. I try to mark that out. Then for our dart intake, where our dart is starting from, you see there, this is the yoke line here. The yoke line, I used 7 inches for my yoke line. You can use anything you want for your yoke line. Then I divide my shoulder by 3 here to connect to my dart line like this. Can you see that? So after this, I am going to give my back a depth that I want. I want it to reach my bust point line from above it, depending on how you want it to be low. If you want a lower back, you can make the curve at the back lower than this. Do you see what I'm doing? I'm giving it a curve. You can give it any curve you like, depending on your choice. So this is my choice and I'm using this. So after this, we are deciding our dart intake. Our dart intake, we are going to take in 0.5 on both sides. As you can see, I am marking 0.5 on both sides. Then you are going to connect it to the yoke line. You are connecting it to the yoke line like this. So the yoke line, I'm taking it taking in 0.25 from the yoke line because I want to tighten that back here. I want to tighten it because I'm using a stretchy net for the yoke. If you are not using a stretchy neck or something, you don't need to take in those measurements there. Then from the waistline here, from the underbust, it connects to the waistline. The reason why I'm taking in this my dart from my underbust is because I want a kind of fem from my underbust. That's why I'm marking my darts on the underbust to take it in there. Then you connect like this to the length of your blouse. Remember, we are dealing with full scale, not half scale. This is a blouse. Then your yoke, the way we did the front, you connect it back to the dart side so that it will fit in what you have measured here. By the time you are cutting and sewing, you won't have any kind of lapses on the yoke line, neither will you have it at the upper side of your bust. So we come to the zipper allowance at the back for our for our intake here. Because the back is slopey, I use 0.75 here for my back dart intake. You can use 0.5 or you use 1. Then at the neck, you extend your neckline because we are dealing with zip allowance here and the zip allowance is moving to the neckline. So we are going to connect our intake, which is 0.75, to that line at the back. Then you connect it outside back like this. Connect it outside back. Connect it back to the blouse line. Do you understand? Don't forget that your back intake is on your waistline. Please don't forget that, not on the bust line. We take our back intake from the waistline. Then from the yoke here, I try to confirm my measurements here. The best measurement, you measure 9. Then what we removed here, you mark it back. Do you understand? To add it to what we have taken away. From the underbust too, our underbust divided by 4. 30, which gives us 7.5, 7.5. Then the dart intake there, we add it back. Do you understand? The one in dart intake, we add it back to it. Then from the waistline to which is 32, 32 divided by 4 gives us 8. Then our dart intake that we removed here, we add it back here so that our measurement will not reduce. Then the allowance we took in away, that's 0.75, we add it back again. Please don't forget that, to add the 0.75 so that our measurement will not reduce. From the down part of the blouse too, you measure your measurement divided by 4 plus the removal of the dart intake there, you add it back to it. Then you take your roller to connect back to your measurement. Please don't forget that on this pattern, we did not add any seam allowance. Our seam allowances are only going into our main fabric. You can decide to add your seam allowance on your paper if you like that. But on this pattern, I am adding my seam allowances on my main fabric. So after I might have done all this, the next thing for me that I'm going to do is to trim out this my line. So let's do this together in trimming this down part. So guys, after cutting, we have this. Then I label my center back and my side back. Do you see that? So we come to our yoke part, the dart side. You see, I still left it that way. I want to give my back the shaping I want. I want to give a circle curve design. The width of what I want, I start from the back line, not the zipper line this time around, because there won't be zip on the yoke. Do you see? Because we are going to cut that away. I use 3. Then from my leg length there, from the depth of my neck, I used 1.5, 1.5, which we know that has. So I just used my free hand to curve that place this way. Do you see the way I'm curving it? So some can decide to use a love design, a 4 corner, that's a square, or whichever way you want, but this is what I like to do. And don't forget, it is on your back line, not on your zip line, because there won't be zip on the yoke. So I continue to trim out my back like this from the line of the shoulder like this. I'll continue trimming So at the back here on this line, we are cutting away the zip because we are not using zip. Please, I keep on saying this because I don't want you to make a mistake. How? Watch the way I'm trimming this off and don't include that in your measurement. I am trimming this curve that I marked because that is the design that we want. So after doing this, we are going to close up our dart. Remember that we close up the dart that we had at the yoke for the front too. So we are going to close this by slashing through one side of the dart so that we can drag it to the other side to close it like this. So you bring it like this and you use your sellotape or paper tape, whatever you want to use it to gum it straight like this. So after gumming, the next thing is to conceal this our curve edge by using another paper under it like this. You are going to gum another paper on it the way we did the front yoke too, so that we won't have any sharp edge there when we are sewing together or when we are cutting. We just have to gum it together, then we blend it. So after that, this is what we have. This arrow indicates up. So our yoke is ready. This side I am going to use button for it. So this is our back pattern ready and our front pattern. Here we go. So in our next video, I'll be teaching you how to stitch this pattern, how to cut and stitch, how to cut on your fabric. That's the transfer your pattern to the fabric, and how you are going to sew it in details. So thanks for watching this video to the end. Thanks so much and see you in our next video. Bye for now.